So I was about to unalive myself, right? Which is something that you should never do, okay? However, I was a little scoundrel, okay? I was quite dastardly. I was about to do it, right? But before that, the worst possible thing happened to me. Okay, basically, I'm scrolling through IG. I see this little meme. It's like this meme of a crawfish, like with shackles ripped off, being like, "Hey, I may be struggling right now, but at least there's in phone time at the end of the bed, or what? At the end of the day, I can have phone time in the bed." That's basically what I was saying, right? And then I was like, you know what? I don't know why, but let me save this, okay? Like I'm like, just in case, I don't, who knows what could happen, okay? And then I did something I never do, okay? When I press save, usually I just save it, right? It will show me my collections, but I don't really put things in the collection. But I'm looking at my collections and I see one, and I'm like, what collection is that? I see it says shared collection, and I'm like, shared? Like, what does that even mean? Like, let me just click on it to see what it's about. I click on it. It instantly adds the meme to the shared collection, right? Now, this isn't just any shared collection. This is a shared collection with my ex. And it all starts coming back to me. But I remember, I'm like, years ago when this happened, when we first made it, I tried putting something in the collection. It didn't do anything. But like, let me just double check to be safe. So then I looked on the messages part, and then I completely saw it said I added something to the shared collection. And I'm like, oh no, I'm already freaking out. Okay, so then I click unsend, which IG is luckily one of those things where if you unsend, it just truly unsends. Basically, I'm like, okay, I also should probably take this out of the shared collection, right? So I go to take it out of the shared collection, and I'm like, you know what's even better? If I just delete the shared collection, so I never have to run into this being a possibility ever again, right? I delete the shared collection. And then I go to check my messages again, and it says, Bryce, it says Bryce deleted the shared collection. And I'm like, like, why is this happening? Okay, but I forgot to say, even before that happened, initially I just unsent it, right? Because that's why I was like, okay, I just need this gone. But then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of curious. Like, let me see what's going on with it right now. Just pure curiosity. Like, I would tell you guys if I wanted to spin the block, pure curiosity. Oh my gosh, and something important here, you guys don't know what X this is yet. This is, and you will not believe it, the girl who called me her father's name. This is exactly who it is. And that's what makes it worse because the situation was years ago, okay? And initially, I know I told you guys at the end of that story, I blocked her. I did block her, okay? But then when I was moving to LA, I was like, you know what if eventually I want to crack? Okay, what if I want to get in them cheeks? So let me just unblock her, and I'll just I'll just keep it there. Okay, I'll just keep it unblocked at the very least. Maybe she'll try something, maybe she'll slide in, maybe she won't. I don't really care. Okay, but I'm like, let me open that door real quick. But anyways, I'm gonna link the full story of me and this girl's thing at the end of the video, but I'm gonna give you guys a quick summary right now, as quick as I possibly can. I met this young lady when she was in her late 20s. I was 20 years old. Okay, there was already an age gap there. I didn't think it was weird because of course I was a 20-year-old, but now me being 23, I'm like, wait a minute. Because me being 23, I'd be extremely hesitant to talk to someone who was 20 years old right now, right? So I'm like, I can't even imagine her being late 20s and doing that with me. And basically, she was a stripper. It took a while, right? Like we had these little small conversations here and there. But one day she drunk called me and just let it all out on the floor. And then then we really clicked. We really locked in for a bit. Things were going great, and part of the reason things were going great is because I didn't have to take her seriously because she was a stripper, right? Which in my mind, which I kind of posted a video about this a while ago, and I got a lot of backlash for it. Because I said I would completely be fine talking to someone, dating them non-monogamously, but I would never monogamously involve myself with a dancer because I feel like the nature of what they do is not monogamous to someone if they are in a relationship with that person. So anyways, if that's a cancel worthy take, I'm so sorry. But in my mind, I'm like, cool, we like each other, but there's not really pressure like that. And we had conversations about how it's cool that there's not really pressure like that. But she would start doing things because you can pull up, or at least where she was working, she could pull up whenever she wanted and leave whenever she wanted. So she would always pull up, leave early, stuff like that to go talk to me. So, so it was cool. It was a cute little situation. And then she ended up quitting. Okay. Now I will say she had mentioned she had beef with some of the other women there, stuff like that. But one thing she said to me that was dangerous is I want to be someone that was worthy of being with you. She said that to me. And I'm like, you did not have to quit your job. Everything was going fine. Mind you, I'm a college student at the time, but it's about to be summer. So I'm going home for the summer. My mom's in Florida. I went to Penn State. Anyways, she didn't have a job during this time. I had nothing to do. I didn't really know anybody in Florida. Me and her are talking all day, every day, falling asleep on the phone, which is something I would never recommend doing given this situation because of a lot of dependence grew on both sides. I remember one time she kind of freaked out at me because I didn't respond to her text, but I had posted on TikTok, and it's bro, we talk so much. And it wasn't one-sided. I also expected to talk to her every day, right? It was just a thing. And then at some point she got involved with some podcast where she would end up throwing it back on people on the podcast, which obviously led to complications. Even though me and her weren't monogamous, that just naturally kind of became an issue. Not that she was doing it, but it's bro, I don't want to know this stuff. And one time she told me to watch the podcast, and it happened while I was watching the podcast. I was like, oh, why? Anyway, she ends up getting a new job. Okay, now it's not like a career, like it's a job, which is fine because I'm thinking at the time, because I'm still like a TikToker at the time. I'm like, okay, bet I can like work on my TikToks or whatever. And things are cool at first, okay, but mind you, her stepdad was like in his 70s. And I remember I made a joke. I was like, he's in his 70s. He's going to go soon. You have to prepare for that. I wasn't really joking, but like it was a little bit funny. Because anytime someone has someone old in their life, I feel the need to tell that person that that person isn't going to be alive forever. Oh my gosh. Actually, something very important throughout this entire time, she's called me her dad's name. I'm going to explain later like how that happened, right? Anyways, stepdad ended up, her biological dad's name. Stepdad though ended up passing away. So sad. She's crying about it and she's like, oh, like I don't really care. I'm just worried about my mother. So I take that, I hear it. I'm like, okay, she's just worried about her mother. But it turns out that wasn't true. She actually was sad that the man passed away. And at this point, she got like super standoffish. Like she was like rocking with me, but like she was just being like weird. Like she was kind of like distancing herself. And it kind of became this game where it's like she would distance herself and then like I would just kind of accept, like at first, like obviously I'm like getting like real clingy about it, right? But then like once I would accept the distance, then she would come back, right? But then it's like if I fed too much into it, then the distance came back. Overall, like she was just being weird towards me and then gaslighting me, like saying that like she wasn't being weird towards me, as if like me and her hadn't had a certain dynamic from the very beginning of us talking that was different to now. So anyways, this is where the dad part comes in. Her dad sent her mom a meat pic at the funeral of the stepdad. Crazy already, right? But something she had been doing this entire time, she had been calling me a name. I'm thinking, she's not American, right? I'm thinking, okay, this is just a pet name, right? You know, like maybe it's just like a cultural pet name. Like we all have those, right? Like we know. Eventually, like she was just talking about like names of like people in her family. And she's like, oh yeah, like I have so-and-so named this. And I like, that's pretty funny. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then she said, my dad's name, like his biological name is this. And it was the thing she had been calling me. And in my head, I was like, but she looked at me and she was like, you don't think that's weird, do you? And I was like, oh no. Because I'm so prone to suggestion. Like I didn't want to make, because I was like, I don't want to be the one making things weird, right? Because you guys know I have a lot of thoughts, like a lot of things bother me that don't bother other people and like vice versa. So I'm like, I want to be the last person like making things weird. And mind you, at this point, things had already been a little bit strained. I'm like, I'm not going to cause a problem by like bringing this up. But no, the more I think about it, the crazier it gets. She'd been calling me her dad's name, bro, the entire time. And when I tell you his government name, I literally mean his first, like people are always like, oh, like you mean she called you like daddy? No, she called me his first name, the name that's on his ID. She called me that frequently and very much in bedroom athletics type context as well. So anyways, basically that happened. But then eventually I ended up returning to school, right? Returning to Penn State. And then, you know, Penn State, whew. Now mind you, I had been talking to other people during this time, but I finally have physical access to other women again, right? So I don't really have to spend too much time on her. Now she notices this. Now I don't know, she probably does figure that I'm talking to other women, but like she doesn't know the specifics probably. But like I can sense she's kind of starting to scramble and like want me a bit more. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, you were pushing away this entire time and like you were doing like this push-pull thing, but like now that like I have my own stuff to worry about, now you just want to do pull. And then things really got crazy when I went to New York. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the birthday story. I know by this time, I'm recording this before I did do the birthday video, but if so, like I had just talked about this, okay? So I'm gonna make it real short, okay? Obviously, I'm in New York clapping mad cheeks, right? So I'm not really talking to her that much. We don't really have like that much time to like speak, talk on the phone, stuff like that. And she mentioned that, right? And she's like, oh, like you just haven't really seemed to have like that much time for me. And she was like trying to play it cool. And she's like, I don't want you to think like I'm like sad about that or anything. Like she's like, I'm not sad. Like Bryce, trust me, I'm not sad about it. And it's like, obviously you're sad about it. Otherwise you wouldn't be putting this much energy into trying to tell me you're not sad. Like we know these things, okay? And I mean that in the sense, like it's one thing where like you just really want to make sure people know something. Like I do it all the time with you guys because like I anticipate your arguments. So like I try to like go against them. But like literally like she was like, oh, I wasn't sad about it. I was like, okay. Like someone, like imagine like someone literally accepts what you say and then like you keep pushing, like that's when it's like, okay. It's like it wasn't even like I was like doing a thing where I was like kind of lending itself to like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure? Which mind you, she did do that. Like, I remember one time, bro, this her coworker bought her food, right? And she asked me if I had a problem with it. And I was like, no, like that's what I like. Because my thing is, if I'm talking to you and you're attractive and men want to give you free stuff, I don't care. Mind you, me and her are still not monogamous. But then like when I told her it was completely fine, I explained my reasoning. She was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? So then I'm like, wait a minute. Like now, like, and that's probably my biggest flaw about myself. Like if you want to see me be critical of myself, that's my biggest flaw. I can be convinced to be jealous so bad. Because even I remember a while ago, like someone asked me, have I ever felt insecure in a relationship or like insecure like about like something, right? And I gave an example of me talking to this girl who had talked to a celebrity before, right? And it's a celebrity where it's like, they're genuinely big and like I enjoy the things that they do, right? And I've never in my life had retroactive jealousy, right? But the way this woman explained it to me, she was like, okay, so like don't freak out, like slow rolling like the concept of her being with this man. And I'm like, why are you doing this when me and you weren't together? Like I literally didn't even know you. Like why are you doing that? It took me so long to realize that like I wasn't feeling a type of way because I felt a type of way naturally, but I felt a type of way because it's like, wait, why are you kind of acting like I should feel the type of editing BRS here? Because the thing is, I had talked to women who had talked to celebrities before, right? And after that, I had talked to women who had talked to celebrities before. And I'm like, why is this instance like the one instance where I ever felt weird about it, right? Like I was like, because I don't think it was like her in particular. Like I don't think it was like my feelings towards her being any sort of way. But then like I was thinking back about the situation of like old girl getting food from her coworker, and I was like, wait a minute, that is definitely that. It's so irritating, bro. I need to work on that. Anyways, that's a flaw of mine I need to work on. But anyways, I'm in New York clapping stuff, right? I'm going around doing my thing. Don't really have much time for her. However, her birthday is coming up. And she always told me like, oh, like, you know, my birthday is super important to me, blah, 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 blah. Now, mind you, I have this theory. Actually, I probably said the theory in the last video. Okay, so I'll also link that video when I end up uploading this one. But basically about like the more someone loves their birthday, the less they love themselves, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, at the time, I know it's important to her. So I'm like, okay, you know, when it comes time, you know, for her birthday, I'm gonna make time, make sure I can like call her, spend time with her, blah, blah, blah. Her birthday comes up. Now, mind you, she's on West Coast time. I'm on East Coast time because again, I'm in New York. So I stay up until 3 a.m., right? So I can call her at 12 a.m. her time and be like, oh my gosh, happy birthday. Now she's like talking to me. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's my birthday. You know, we're chatting, doing our thing. We talk until 7 a.m. my time, right? Until she falls asleep. Mind you, she falls asleep first. I wake up going about my day. Like I'm getting lunch because I think it was a late night for like everyone I was with, like who I was hanging out with in New York. And basically like we get breakfast or like lunch or whatever it was. And she's like, can you call me? And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I'm just getting food. Like I'll try to make some time later. And then she was like being like real standoffish. I was like, what's going on? And she was like, I just thought you knew how important my birthday was to me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, you can't be serious. I literally stayed up so late talking to you for your birthday. So that situation, but like the nail had been in the coffin. Like there were certain times I told her I was about to go to sleep and she started freaking out because she thought I was lying about being asleep. So I had to call her and be like, hey, I really am going to sleep. Like, look, I'm by myself and I just want to slump. I'm tired, dog. But like, it was like that birthday situation where I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this is really a situation I have to get out of. Because mind you, it wasn't like she was like a big like silent treatment giver. Like the whole like, oh, I'm going to say I want to get off the phone, but you can't let me get off the phone. Very immature, right? And then days later, okay, there was this other thing where me and her, we were on the phone in the morning and I was about to go get breakfast with my friend. And then like like me and him had like this little conversation like before we got breakfast, right? And apparently, now mind you, we didn't talk about like other women. Like there was nothing that like would reasonably come to my mind and be like, oh, she probably didn't like me talking about that. Something I said to him made her mad. And then like, she was like, I can't talk about it right now because I'm about to go to work. I'm like, okay, bet. And she went to work. She sent me like a message. Like she had won like employee of the month. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Da, 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 da. So things are good, right? And then the next morning, like we talk on the phone again. So we're just chatting a little bit. I'm like, hey, like, I just want to know like what was going on with yesterday. And then she said, oh, it's fine, but I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, oh, like everything's fine, but I just don't want to talk about it. I was like, I just want to know what it is so like I can avoid that in the future. Cause I'm like, I genuinely, like, I'm sure like whatever you're thinking is going on is just a misunderstanding. I would just love to clear it up. And if it's not a misunderstanding, I'd just love to, you know, be able to avoid it in the future. And she's like, okay, but like I said, I don't want to talk about it. I was like, come on, like we're adults, we can communicate like adults. And she's like, I'm communicating. I don't want to talk to you about it. And basically she has to go to work again. And then at this point I'm like, okay, yeah, bye, whatever. And then she texts me after that. And then she basically texts me something like basically saying that, hey, like I think me and you, we should be platonic. Now, mind you, she had sent me like this text before, like this had happened. Like this was part of like the whole push pull cycle, right? Like she'd be like, hey, like maybe we need to put a pause on like us being like romantically involved. And then like next week she'd be like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like there was just a lot of inconsistency. It was very toxic. And then as soon as she said that, I think I said, I'm sorry you feel that way. And then like I blocked her on everything. And then the mistake I made, and people always hate it when I get to this part of the story, like a week later, I unblocked her and I sent a voice memo kind of like shitting on her a little bit. Not too hard though. Like just because I had to get stuff off my chest because when I'm in like, and I feel like a lot of you know, like if you know my trends with relationships, you know I put up with a lot more than I should because I'm like, look, I want to make things work. I don't want this person to like feel this certain type of bad way. Like I'm sure things will be fine. Like I just got to put up with this for the time being. Message, never do that. Like I'm like, okay, like this happened. I'm not going to stand up for myself right now because it's not the time and everything's going to be fine once this moment passes. But then it's like in me doing that, it builds resentment over time, which usually the resentment's fine as long as the person improves. But obviously in a situation where this person doesn't improve, the resentment kind of just stays there. So it's like I had a lot of stuff to get off my chest, which again, people are like, oh, like that kind of make like obviously the situation was me going outside. Because clearly near the end, I was trying to like communicate, do all that stuff when she wasn't interested in doing that. So it was me going outside. But people talk about me sending her that one last voice memo as being like me going out more sad, but it's like I needed to do that. Like there was so much I needed to say. Now mind you, I wasn't like cursing her out or anything like that. Like I was just like, hey, like you self-sabotage the situation. I was like, look, we can both go our separate ways. I'm sure we're both gonna be fine in life. You know, like I mean, like I don't want any sort of, you know, like you said, that no romantic thing, but like I don't think I want to speak to you ever because like who you are right now is not someone that I feel like is compatible with who I am right now. You know what I mean? Like it was like coming off mature, but clearly I was upset. You know, like I was talking down a little bit. Again, it's like my main point is I was telling her she's self-sabotage, and I blocked her again last time I ever spoke to her. Right now, mind you, I will tell you this. Okay, a few months ago, I tried to keep this secret. A few months ago on my third account, She made a comment. She was like, "Oh, look who's on my For You page again." Okay. But at that time, I was just like, no, not happening, right? So it was like, okay, whatever. So like that was like the last interaction until everything that happened tonight or like last night or I don't tonight. It's oh no, it's morning now. So last night, look, I know I gave you a lot of information, so I'll just recap it again. I tried to save a meme to my phone, right? Save a meme on IG just to like my IG saves or whatever. I saw a collection that was a shared collection. I was like, what's that? Clicked on it. It was my collection with her. So it like notified her that I did stuff to the collection. Oh yeah, and did I tell you? I had her blocked on everything. I unblocked her in case I wanted to pipe. Didn't slide into the DMs, didn't follow, didn't do that. So it was already a bad situation. Accidentally texting my ex. Oh man, it sucks. But out of curiosity, now look, again, I like I mentioned in the beginning, if I wanted to slide back in, I would tell you that I want to slide back in. But out of curiosity, I was like, I wonder what she's been up to. So I just look at her posts, right? And I'm scrolling through her posts, and then I see this white guy, right? Picture her and white guy. I'm like, okay, what? Like, like she has like male friends. Like a lot of them were like gay, which yeah, like, I don't care, but you can have male friends. Like I'm saying, like even when I was talking to her, like I didn't really, it wasn't that deep to me. So I saw her with some white guy, and I'm like, okay, he doesn't seem gay, but like. Like nah, like there's no way. And then I'm scrolling and I see a picture of them again. I'm like, okay, two in one like little post and one little photo dump. Oh, okay. But like no, like I'm just like, okay, he must be a really good friend. And then I keep going through and I see a video of her kissing this man on the cheek, like kind of like showering him and kisses on the cheek, like mwah, 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 mwah. And when I tell you, I am shook. And let me explain to you why I'm shook. This woman was the most. Now, I'm not gonna say that. Let me not exaggerate, bro. She was very blackwashed. Okay, like you know how people say like someone's whitewashed. She was blackwashed. Now, mind you, she wasn't white or black. Like, because I don't want to get too much into the race because I don't want. Because again, I hate giving too much details about the person because I don't want people to be able to triangulate like if they somehow knew. But point is, she was blackwashed, right? She put on a black scent like in conversation with certain people, and like I kind of like anytime someone does a black scent in front of me, I always kind of confront them because I'm like, what's that about? And she's like, oh, but like it's the place I grew up in. Like that's really how I normally talk. Da da da. And I'm like, okay, now mind you, I don't know why. Like y'all, if I ever put up with that again, I will literally like pay one of you to slap me in the face because I refuse. Okay, because that happened with her. Next girl, she kind of had a speech impediment, so she couldn't code switch even if she wanted to. But third girl, oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna re-record, but the speech impediment thing is cracking me up. Okay, but anyways, third girl, she also had that thing to a lesser degree, but she eventually ended up stopping like when I called her on. But it still happened. I'm like, I need to stop talking to these non-black people who put on black scents. Like why? Like that dude, like I'm better than this, bro. Like come on, bro. But anyways, again, completely blackwashed, completely like you can tell like she views herself a certain way. And me and her had conversations, right? Me and her had conversations where for one of our first fights, she accused me of being a milkman, which was crazy because we were doing like a little icebreaker, right? Because like we were just getting to know each other. It was kind of cute, and she was like, it was like, oh, like what do you think this person's type is? And she said, I like would think your type was like white women, and I'm like, wow. And basically, I explained the fact because when people think a black man's type is only white women with like just seeing him speak or like seeing his appearance, okay, not like seeing his actual dating history, that is anti-black just inherently, okay? Because when people accuse me of being a milkman, they do it because of how I talk, the way I carry myself. Because keep in mind, there's already the narrative that like black men who date non-black women aren't really black men, you know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, they aren't real, like any any black man who dates a white woman, whitewash, you know what I mean? Like that's the narrative, which is why when someone who's not black accuses me of dating only white women, like it literally offends me more than the N-word because it's like, it's literally like you trying to like racial Olympics me right now. But anyways, okay, it's like saying that like, oh, someone who talks like me, someone who carries themselves like me dates white women is saying like, oh, like because real black men, they're hyper masculine. They don't speak so eloquently. Okay, they spam AAVE. I'm not saying you can't be eloquent whilst using AAVE. Those are two separate statements. But you see what I'm saying? Like if you sound a particular way, if you sound educated, it's like, oh, you must like white women. And it's like, no, like that should not be the case. So it's anti-black and I had a problem with that, right? So it's like, for one, her accusing me of being like a milkman and then popping out with a white man, kind of crazy. But also, me and her talked about her type because I was afraid she was a chocolate chaser, right? Like I was afraid she only dated black guys. And she told me, she's like, okay, like I date like black and Mexican. She's like, because that's like really who I grew up around. She's like, I don't really like find like that many Asian men attractive. I'm like, okay, fine. And she said the one race I could never date is a white guy. I could just never. So that was part of the reason I was shocked. So because I was like, no, like if it was like a black dude, I'd be like, okay, maybe it is him. But like I literally could not believe this until I literally saw her kissing his face. Now this white man, I didn't overanalyze him. I did not overanalyze him. But I feel like I have to tell you guys, he's definitely not better looking than me. And I don't mean that subjectively. That's all I'm gonna say. Like again, let's just say I'm very, very surprised. Very surprised. But like also not really. Like I'm not saying it's not a look. Like I'm not saying like, oh, like she could do so much. She could probably do better. But like I'm not saying like, oh, like she could do so much better. Like they're probably like closer to each other than like I am to either of them. And again, I know you guys like, oh, like BRS is ego, BRS narcissism. I'm keeping it a complete buck with you. I've been with women who dated like my last ex, bro, her ex is very handsome, very attractive. I'm not telling you this just to tell you this. I'm telling you this because I have a purpose. And the purpose is to let you know this isn't some prime Travis Kelce coming into her life, sweeping her off her feet. Like this is not like some like, oh my gosh, I just never imagined a white man being like this. Again, I didn't look too hard, but like this is a regular white guy, right? Like this is some white guy she probably met somewhere and was like, hey, why not? So it just makes me wonder, how have the mighty fallen? You know what I mean? Not saying she was mighty, okay? Like, let me not put too much credit to her, but like at the same time, thought I paused. But like, you know what I mean? At the same time, it's like you have like this whole thing where you're like, I would never do it. Because mind you, I'll tell you this right now. I'm not a milkman. But I'm not gonna tell you I'll never date a white woman. I'll tell you if a really bad white woman came along, what else am I gonna do? Like if Maggie Linderman pulls up on me and we start talking and we hit it off, you think I'm gonna turn her down because she's white? No, bro, that's Maggie Linderman, and that's the whitest name ever, isn't it? But she bad. Look her up. She got that thing I like where white women look a little evil. You know what I mean? Like I like dark hair, like a little bit of goth. You don't gotta be crazy goth. You don't gotta overdo it, but like just a little like I want to know that you have depression by looking at you. But anyways, it's like, I'll give you that, right? So if you see me pop out with a white woman, you know what I mean? Just assuming like she's attractive, you'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. Now, obviously, if I hop out with someone chopped in general, you'd be like, oh man, Bryce is losing it. Or he never had it, which of course I have it, guys. Let's not be crazy now. So it's like, just for her to get with a white man like that, like, what does that mean? You know, like what happened? Like, oh my gosh, now I kind of want to know. Like, I'm like, how did you do this? Like, how did this occur, bro? Like, I'm so puzzled. Okay, but also, what does this mean for me? Okay, now mind you, again, I don't know the situation. I haven't talked to her it was like 2 years ago? Probably about two. And then remember, she made that comment on one of my posts a few months ago. But like, it's just like, I hope I wasn't the last serious talking stage she had or whatever before him. Because I don't want to be the handoff to the white guy. Because and look, if you're white, I need you to understand, I love you. I appreciate you for watching this video. I cherish you. I think white people are so cool and funny. You know, obviously when they're not like certain white people, you know what I mean? But like, you know, like I love white people. I have no issue with them. But I need you to understand, as a black man, if I date a woman and after me she starts dating white men, it's how a lot of men feel if you were to date this woman and then afterwards she becomes a lesbian. Now, me personally, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't take it too personally. But a lot of men are like, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? Like, is there something wrong with me? So it's like, if she went from me to white guy, because again, I've had exes get with new men, but it's like usually, like I've had exes I've seen involve themselves with white men, but usually at least there's a black man in between. Okay, so I'm like, okay, it was him. Was it me? Like it just can't be, right? Because it was a couple years ago, right? But again, but the thing is, a couple years can go by without you really getting into something serious, right? So it's such a mind effort of a situation, and especially you got to understand, it would be one thing if she was like, you know, I don't really discriminate, da 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 da. She was very very adamant, okay, and that's why like so I really hope white people didn't get mad at me for that. Like she was very adamant, like I would never date a white guy. I would never. So I'm like, what changed? Like, what happened? And she told me, she was like, oh yeah, like, you know, like when things were actually going well, she's like, oh yeah, you know, it would be super hard for me to like talk to someone that like I wasn't attracted to after talking to you because I just think you're so attractive. And it's like, could that be a line? Yeah, sure, whatever. But like at the same time, it's true to an extent. Like, bro, I'm a baddie. Like, what is she? I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what to say, so I kind of just like did that, and I'm leaving that in. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm a baddie. Like after dating me, or like before, just at some you're gonna have to like be like, okay, yeah, like I want baddies because I had access to Bryce, the baddie. And this is why I talk about all the time, okay? And people get so pissed. I remember I posted this on IG, and people got mad on my content IG account. When people stop talking to me and they start talking to someone else, okay, who's obviously not of my ilk, how do they feel about that? Are they like, man, I had to settle? Like, what are they thinking genuinely? Because you have to be honest with yourself. Like, me personally, bro, I remember the situation I was in during 2020, right? Where, everyone was home. I was talking to this girl, like things were going well. And then that situation ended up not panning out. She was at that point, like, probably the most attractive woman I had talked to, like, at up to that point. So I had been talking to other women after, and mind you, like, I'm like, okay, you're pretty, you're cute, whatever. But in my mind, I was like, I know they don't look as good as her, so I can't downgrade. And the thing is, even if you don't take it that far, even if you're like, okay, like whatever, downgrading, who cares? Like, you just like this person, you have the connection. Do you not in your mind think like they're not as good as this person? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that has to be a thought. Like, I need you guys to understand, I'm over it, in case you can't tell. And I tell you the story like of the relationship situation, whatever, because I think it's entertaining for you. And like, I know you guys like when I tell stories. But all that, like, I don't really care about, okay? But the part that's getting me, like, like her being with a man, I don't care, okay? But it's like, this guy, this random, it's not even this guy, it's the fact that it's what this guy represents. Because in my mind, because I hate to be this guy, but I'm like, does this man represent her giving up? Like, because truly, what is he bringing that changed her mind from no white men to like, okay, this white man? Did she, now mind you, I know like she in her mind was on a timer, like she wanted to have like kids at a certain age, so all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking, I'm like, was it that? Like, was it like, oh, I want to settle down, here's this man? Is it a money thing? Maybe, I don't know, because I'm not gonna like, because remember, she was late 20s when me and her were together. Late 20s, I was 20, so it's different for me, right? Like, I'm in a situation where I just got out of two relationships, and I'm 23, and I don't really want to be in a relationship for a good amount of time. Her, she's really like 30 or pushing 30 or like just past 30, somewhere around that range. And there's a lot of societal pressure to, at that point, especially as a woman, start wrapping it up. So it's like, was it a situation where it was like, okay, like, I'm kind of looking to settle down. Let me give this person a chance, see if it works, and then it ended up working. Which, okay, if it works, it works. I don't know. Like, I need you guys to understand. I just take such great interest in people settling down and when they choose to settle down, right? Like, think about ASAP Rocky and Rihanna. Okay, they settled. I don't know what the age they were. They're definitely past late 20s. Maybe they were in that range, early. I think they were definitely like early 30s. But anyways, they were in that range. Started having kids, started a family. It makes sense because you think about ASAP Rocky, you think about Rihanna. You know what doesn't make any sense? Jay-Z and Beyonce. What happened there? Now, mind you, I don't want any beef with Rock Nation, trust. But like, what was that about? Like, clearly there is something going on that made not only Jay-Z be like, I want to settle down right now when I'm in my late 20s with Beyonce, obviously a beautiful woman, so I guess that kind of settles it. But there was something in Beyonce where, when she was however old she was, being like, yeah, I'm gonna settle down with Jay-Z. Like, this is my time. Well, like, what was that about? You know what I mean? Like, I could get really interested in that, but like, me, since I know this person and since I've heard the specific things they had said to me about this kind of man, what's this about? Like, what happened? Now, obviously, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to ask her. Like, I don't want to have this conversation. It would just be very awkward. But it's just like, I'm curious, man. Like, for real and for true, what made it happen? Okay, and that's where I'm left at right now. I'm sitting here puzzled, right? Because I'm not gonna. Now, mind you, I know some people, bro. Some people I've been very close to, or like the type of person to like keep looking at it and being like, that's not me. Okay, like, I saw it, I processed it, and then like I'm moving on. Like, as far as like looking at it, obviously, like I'm still thinking about it, but like, I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like reanalyzing it. I'm like, what is this about? And it's like, I don't want to be that guy. Okay. Like, I don't want to take this. Like, there were details in the original She Called Me Her Dad's Name video that were kind of shitting on her a little bit. Okay. Just a little bit. This video, I didn't want to shit on her. Right. Like that. Like, again, I'm linking the video at the end. If you watch that video, you'll see there are certain things where it's like, oh, like, he definitely like wouldn't want. Like, this is not the kind of video where it's like, charitable to that particular person, not like purposefully, but it's just like things are brought up, but it's like I purposefully tried to avoid as much of that as possible here, because I don't want it to be like, oh, like, I'm just hating on her, like, oh, my ex got into a relationship. And now, mind you, again, this, like, ex is like the tagline because it's easier to say, but like, this is like a situation like, oh, situationship got into a relationship, like, oh, he's being weird about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to think I'm trying to like neg or like be like, oh, well, like, she's actually just crappy, da, da, da. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, like, this has nothing to do with her quality and everything to do with the things she said to me and the decision in this moment. Okay, if anything, me being so puzzled right now, it's a compliment to her, because I'm not like, I've had people that like I talked to in high school or whatever, and I see them settle down with somebody, I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Take what you can get. You know what I mean? Because I never like deemed that person to have hear me out. I never deemed that person to have like a kind of respect for themselves. I just figured I'm like, yep, someone's just gonna come along and be nice to them, and they're gonna be like, yep, let's go. Her though, I thought she was very picky, or I thought she was going to be picky. Maybe that was a bit naive. Because I'm trying to think. I remember when things first ended. How was I? Obviously, I was way hurt back then. But I remember, I think part of me, I was like, yeah, like I was like, I don't think she's gonna like be in a relationship with someone for a while. Like I was like, I feel like she's gonna be alone for a long time, unless like she figures out her stuff. Which if she figured out her stuff, good for her. To be honest with you, like as far as like I'm talking about like self-sabotage type shit. But it's funny. I remember my friend told me at the time. He was like, nah, like she's gonna get a guy who's gonna like let her walk all over him, which might be the case now. But at the same time, I still don't understand because the thing is, mind you. Again, I went so long in the video without like directly saying this, but like if given the opportunity to talk to the same woman again, like for the first time, like just me like having my history and my knowledge, I wouldn't do that. Like I would like she slid into my DMs a couple years ago, and I was like, ooh yeah. So I responded. If she slid into my DMs right now, there wouldn't be a response, right? Even without the history. Or at the very least, things never would have advanced to the point where they advanced to. Like she probably would have like asked me to FaceTime and I would have been like, what? And like just ghosted. However, with that being said, not at all chopped to the point where, like I said earlier, like, oh yeah, just take what you can get. Like man, bro, like especially like people be going, bro. Like people be going in society. And again, big city. Like I don't know if I'm delusional. Cause I'm just thinking, I'm like, bro, like there's no way this was like the only option. But at the same time, no, it wasn't. It wasn't because I was thinking like she had like insinuated things before that kind of indicated that like there was like starting to become like a lack of interest given certain developments, if you know what I'm saying. But like she didn't say it directly, but she would say things, and then I'd perceive, and I'd be like, oh, like that's why that's happening, or that's why that's not happening, if that makes sense. But just in general, I'm like, bro, I know for a fact multiple people have wanted her. What did he do? What could he? And I know what you, like. I feel like some people like their minds gonna go to the gutter and be like, "Oh, it's probably." I feel like that's not usually a thing in real life, especially her. Like again, I'm not shaming, but she, from my knowledge, she had been around town. So it's like unless this man's dropping something that we've literally never heard of in the history of mankind, I don't think that's why, right? Like I'm referencing like stuff in the pants, right? But I don't know. Like I feel like my best guess is it's like a timing thing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, my life's starting to slow down. Hey, like things. I hate to be this guy. I really do. But I just have to say it because I'm like, okay, like maybe like things are slowing down. You're like, you're looking at how things are going and you're like, no, because I'm telling you right now, bro, that's not like a foreign concept. Like, I feel like that's a human thing. Like, that's something I feel like I'd probably do. Like, if I was in a situation, right, where I feel like I'm getting to an age where it's now or never, which again, like, I don't think that's true, right? Like, that mindset, it's a bad mindset, problematic mindset. Oftentimes it comes from a lot of misogyny, right? In women. Like, that's like when people put that on women. But if I'm at a point in my life, right, where I think like, man, I gotta wrap this up, I'm kind of just gonna wrap it up, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be thinking too much about it. And look at me, okay? You know, people do that. Like, again, I know I'm egotistical. I know I have narcissistic tendencies. I know you guys love pointing that out. But I need you to look me in my eyes and tell me, you know, people do that, right? And if I'm telling you that this doesn't make sense, that 2 plus 2 equals 5, I need you to understand, I need you to trust me as a creator that I'm not just saying this just to say. I'm not just saying this to be egotistical. I'm not, like, when I tell you, bro, if she got with LeBron, I'm being so serious. If she got with LeBron at this point, I would be like, oh man, she got with LeBron. And it's like, I know I'm already being pre-defensive, but it's just because I know you guys. Like, I know how you get. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know how the internet is, like, when someone says something. Like, since everyone's always, like, perpetually covering up for insecurities, like, you're going to assume I'm doing the same thing. And, like, I'll tell you, like, I mentioned earlier, when things just ended, I was coping. Like, with me and her, like, a couple years ago, I was like, oh, man, like, she probably not. Because in my mind, like, because in my heart of hearts, I didn't think she was gonna be in a situation for a while, like in a like serious situation for a while. But like out loud, like I was posturing, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be alone forever. You know what I mean? Like that's you know, that's cope. Like that's pure cope. But I'll tell you, okay, I went out sad. I took the L in the situation. There's no redeeming it. Okay, and I'm not even saying. And again, she's in a happy relationship. From what I see, she's in a happy relationship. So this isn't even her taking the L. I'm just telling you. Like, yeah, she happy relationship. I'm single. Okay, look at that. Ooh, I'm just telling you, I'm confused. I'm just telling you, I don't get it. due to the context of the situation. Like, what else could it be? Because again, given other history that's just like less interesting, I don't think it's money. Because like she had been in a situation where like she had someone like tricking and it like went somewhere like where it just wasn't good, right? So she wasn't rocking with like the concept of tricking. So I don't think it's that. So I'm like, this guy, right place, right time for him. Like I just need you guys to understand this is just pure confusion, and it's like, and the reason I'm so harping on it is because I don't want that to be the case. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be another reason so I don't have to say that out loud. Because again, it's just all about context. Okay, the context situation, me knowing this person, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It doesn't. But part of me, like I literally just got a thought in my head. I was like, maybe he is gay and that's why she kissed him. Like maybe that's what that was about. But like I feel like that's most likely not the case. So I'm like letting it coast. But again, like your biggest takeaway needs to be, okay, the swearing up and down that the white man thing would never happen, right? And it had never happened previously either. So I'm wondering, I'm just like, what character development took place here? Like, please tell me you understand my confusion here. Okay, please tell me there's going to be some of you. Let me know in the comments that there's some of you who understands what I'm getting at, right? Because I know that a lot of you are just going to be like, oh man, you're mad she moved on. You're mad she moved on. Look, I don't want anyone to move on from me ever. But like, this is as calm I can be about the situation. Like, I'm always going to be mildly annoyed when someone quote unquote moves on from, because again, I'm like, look, I'm saying this right now. I don't know how this comes across because back to the fact that like I accidentally did the whole sharing to the collected thing. It comes across like an accident, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I share this message, unsend it, and then like delete the thing. Like that's not that doesn't sound like I'm trying to slide back in, right? Because I feel like me sliding back in is me putting it in the collection, and then like me waiting for her to say something. Then when she says something, me being like, oh, I thought that was just in the collection. Oh no, like you feel me? But me doing that, deleting the collection, good thing I was gonna reblock. I was thinking about just now. Nah, that the reblock would be doing too much. But like deleting the collection, I feel like that kind of makes it more like, oh, was that an accident? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would make her like less sure of the concept of like me spinning the because again she knows I'm a block spinner, right? Because me and her we talked about like our toxic stories all the time. So I really don't want her to think it was like her time to shine or anything. And plus, you know the thing where it's like they always come back. Oh man, I can't. I don't. I really hope she's not thinking that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but basically my point is, I'm like I feel like if I were to slide in, like if I were to be like, hey, this is Bryce. How have you been? I'm not gonna tell you why, but I feel like I could get a response. Okay, I'm just saying that. Now, if you want to call that cope, you want to call that whatever, you can think what you want to think. Okay, because again, I'm not giving you anything to explain to you why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I'm just telling you I have a feeling. Okay, just something tells me. Okay, well, getting a little cheeky on you. But anyways, moral of the story, that happened. I'm so annoyed by it, and also she's with a white man. What the hell? And again, just a regular white man. How did that happen? So confused. But that is this video. I don't know how long this video is, bro. I thought this was gonna be a shorter video, but as I was explaining the story, I was like, bro, this shit gonna be long as hell. And then when I got into like me being like, what is me getting into about, I was like, man, this shit probably long as hell. I've been trying to be more concise lately. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, appreciate you for watching. I appreciate the members who are seeing this a day early, probably because I'm trying to think. I think I'm gonna put this up Tuesday, so it's I think members see it Monday. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for being BRS goons. If you're interested in being a member, you can go ahead and join. But if you don't, no hate. No, I appreciate you for watching the videos regardless. Your support means everything. But yeah, no, this is an interesting thing, bro. I'm gonna be thinking about it more even when I finish the video. I'm gonna be like, because usually like when I finish the video, that's when I got all my thoughts out. But like now, like I don't want to just be sitting here rambling for you more than I already have. You know what I'm saying? Actually, no, I'm gonna record the birthday video after this, but which is the video actually you just saw last if you consistently watch my videos. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Thanks so much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, everything I have to say. I'm so sorry, and I love you. Okay, have a great day, night, evening, morning. Okay, before you go, for some reason I have to say this. Okay, I don't know if it's autism, OCD, something of the sort. I need you to understand. I hopped out of bed to make this video. So certain things, like if you think I'm off, like if you think, oh my gosh, bro, your face isn't as moisturized as it should be. Oh, my hair is kind of always like what it is. But like, you know what I mean? Like if you see something, just know this was not me entering the video for my full form. However, I do look very handsome though, which I think we should all appreciate for a second. But I have to tell you this, okay? It's kind of a thing.